It's morning now, and I'm going to do my other calibration frames. I'm going to start out and get my camera cooled down, and we'll fire up astrophotography tool here, and we're going to go in and set up everything for the darks.
Camera connected.
All right.
Telescope connected.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go into camera and we'll get it cooling to the -15. It's important that when you do your dark frames that you do them at the same temperature, and you want to do them at the same exposure time. So we'll go set that up, and I like to get at least 20 of the dark frames. And you can build a library for these and use them. I'll do that, but every once in a while I'll make a new library just in case I got any other hot pixels or anything like that. So we'll add a dark frames plan, and I was doing 120 seconds, so I'll get that. And I have everything at the same gain and offset, so everything looks like it should be ready to go. And I will wait until the camera cools down, and when it does, we'll go do that, and then we'll go on to our flats and then our bias frame. Okay, our camera is at its temperature, and we'll get started here. Even gives you a little warning, don't forget to cover the telescope, which I did, so we're good.
Exposure started.
And we'll let that chew away on that, and then we'll go on to our flat files. Started our dark frames, and I want to just take a peek at one before I walk away from this. And there's our first dark frame. And you can see some of the little pixels and stuff that are in there. That'll subtract them out, but more importantly, you'll see on those images that we took last night, we had this amp glow. So it's showing up this amp glow in this dark frame. That'll subtract that all out of there nicely. So it looks like we're off and running. We'll let that do its thing, and then we'll come back and, like I say, we'll do those flats. Okay, so I just finished the dark frames, and now I want to do my flat frames. And I just do these, you want to make sure that you leave the focus just as you had it. And I just did my dark frames, and I'll just pull this cap off of here. And I do the white t-shirt thing, but I don't go out in the sunlight. I have these LED lights in my garage, and all I do is just aim it just right underneath it, and I let the software do the rest. All right, so that's what I did. I just stretched that white t-shirt over there, and then I will aim that underneath one of those lights, and then we'll go to the computer and I'll show you just how we set that up with the flats assistant. Dark frames are done, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go to tools, and we're going to do our flat frames. So we'll do that. We're going to go to CD Flats Aid, and that target ADU, I set that at about 20,000. Sometimes anywhere between 20 and 30,000 seems to work good. And we're not going to use the filters. If you do use filters, like for narrowband, you must take flats for each one of those. So fortunately, we just got the one-shot color, and it's a Creative Flats plan. 15 of them is just fine. And what we'll do is we're going to take that scope, and let's just move that over. I want to get kind of underneath that light. So slow that baby over there. Okay, let's see what we got. So we're just going to run, and it will measure that. And you'll see on the histogram and it'll know whether it has to give it more or less exposure time on there. So I say it really couldn't be any easier. And I didn't do flat frames for a long time because I thought, oh, these things are super hard. And they're so important. I guess I didn't really see the value in them until I started using them. And to get dust bunnies and vignetting out of there, it's and being as you have this 8 here, it's so easy.
Auto flats finished.
So now it's ready. We'll stop that. We'll go to our camera, and now it has this. We can actually run the program. What it did when it says auto flats finished, what it did was give the time, that exposure that would give you the perfect flat. So now we're just going to hit start. There we go. Let it chew away on those. And from what I've been told with other people, you don't have to have this at cooled off to do the flats. You just need to be at the same focus that you were at when you were doing your imaging. Because again, we're looking for in the imaging terrain or on we're looking for dust bunnies, we're looking for dust or motes or something on your sensor, and this will subtract those out of there. So we have the lights, darks, and flats, and finally we are going to do our bias frames. So let's go into the camera here, and we will pick our bias, add a new bias plan, and the exposure on that, go 0.001, and then I put the same gain on there, and offset. And of course, no filter change. So it's just going to take an image of that noise that's in there. These go really fast, and we can do 20 of those. And we'll add that as new. And we'll go to the bias frames plan, and we're going to go M31 for bias. Make sure that your scope is covered. You want the lens on there, just like you would do with the darks. And we'll hit start. And just like the flats, you don't have to be at the minus 15 degrees or so, I'm told. You can see just how quickly it's going through these. Which means there'd be no reason really to avoid taking these bias frames. They happen so quickly. Why wouldn't you?
Imaging plan finished.
And just that quickly, we're done.